Hi, welcome to another Gimp 2.10 tutorial. And this time I'm going to show you how to create a decorative pillow. And I did this tutorial in the old version, Gimp 2.8, and basically it's the same steps. The only thing that is different that we introduced in Gimp 2.10 the warp transform tool that it replaced the iWarp tool. And before we start, I want to let you know that in the folder you're gonna find the GIMP layer effect.py if you don't have it, and I'm gonna show you how to make it work for this if you have it. Also, I'm gonna share a filter called Crosshair Guideline or Crosshair Guides that is gonna automatically place the center guideline. And we start are going to file and create a new image, and we're going to make the dimension 1500 by 1500, and then we want to change the background because where we're going to place the pillow is not going to be white like this, so we're going to give them a little bit of color. So let's go to the foreground background color palette and use EA, and click on the color and just drag it to the canvas. And we want to make create or add a new layer, and this layer I named it pillow. You can name it whatever you want, uh, and we want to make the square on the here in the canvas that is going to represent the pillow. And before we do that, we want to place the vertical and horizontal guideline. You can do it by hand if you want. If you don't have the filters, you decide not to download or install the filter. But we go to view if you haven't installed already, crosshair guideline, and there you go. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna choose the rectangle select tool, and on the options uh, here where it says round the corner, we want to check this and make the radius 8. Okay. Next, we're gonna check where it says fix to, and this bar at the end has a drop down, and probably yours, if you haven't used this, is gonna say aspect ratio. Change it to size, and the size that we're gonna use is 1000 by 1000. Okay, and then we're gonna click on the canvas to create the selection and bring the selection to the center. Now we have a square. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill it with white and just drag the color, and we no longer need the selection, so uh, go to select none, and now we're gonna decorate the pillow with the uh, pattern that we choose or we like the most, and we're gonna go to layer effects, and we're gonna choose pattern overlay. Here this filter, just click browse and choose the pattern or decoration that you want for the pillow. And for these, for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to use floral pattern number 2. You can close the dialog window if you want. You already chose. And then we're going to make the size 90. If you're using, all depend, what kind of pattern you use. And if the patterns are bigger than this one, then you have to choose a different size. If you want the whole design to be on the square. Now, here where it says in this box it says merge with layer, we want to choose that one because we don't want to make two layers. We want to only make one. So choose that and click OK, and there you go. Now everybody knows that pillows are not flat square, so we're gonna dent the side a little bit. Uh, as, so we're gonna use the new tool, warp transform tool, to do it, and just click on it. And the size for this one, let's make it uh, 800. The harness, we're gonna leave it at 80, and the strength 100 too. So size 800, harness 80, and strength 100. And just bring the brush transform to the center. Before we do that, I got to tell you, you got to change this right here. Click the drop down, and this is the effect that you want to give. You got move, grow, shrink, swirl, counterclockwise, uh, erase, warping, and smooth warping. And for this, we're gonna use move pixel because we're gonna once we click here, we're gonna move just a little to inside. And you don't have to be in the center. You can be off the center, and click and just move a little bit. Uh, the image is gonna uh, move to the inside a little bit, and you don't overdo it because otherwise it won't look good. Uh, and then press enter, so it will complete the cycle. And there you have it. Now you have it's starting to look like more like a pillow. And now we need we need some thickness on this, so we need to make it look like it's puffier, like pillows are. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to layer effect, and we're gonna use the inner glow to do it. Now I'm gonna show you for those one who having problem with Gimp 2.8 layer effect .py, is because this was created for 2.8, the last update they did, and they haven't done one for Gimp 2.10. And every time you click on this, what they call color picker, if you left click on this one, it will give you an error, and it was the filter will disappear. So I'm gonna show you that instead of left click, just right click, and they're gonna give you two set of options. One is the default, that is black and white, those are default, and this in foreground and background color is the one that you can pick from your foreground background color palette right here. Whatever you put here is, you can choose from here foreground or background, and it's gonna appear on the color picker. Okay. So for this tutorial, we're gonna choose the black, the default, and it changed to black. And then we're gonna change the blend mode to gray merge, and we're gonna lower the opacity to 60, and the size we're gonna make it pretty big, 150. And uh, every time you do a bigger size like this, it's gonna take a little time. I mean, all depend how your computer runs. If you have a faster computer, it's gonna take less than any other computer. And for that reason, I'm gonna click OK, and I'm gonna pause it till we get to the result. Okay, we're back, and this is the effect from that filter. You can see that it look more puffier. It has an effect that lift up a little bit from the edge of the square or the pillow that we have. Now we want to make it a little bit more puffier, and uh, we want to make uh, an edge around the the pillow, and it's like a flap. It's gonna look like a flap, and then we're gonna see the puffier different from the flap. Okay, it's like a sim that we're gonna create. So we're gonna go to layer again, and we're gonna use the layer effect filter or plugged in, and this time choose bevel and emboss. And here we're gonna change the style to inner bevel, and we're gonna give the depth a 65. leave the direction as is, and the size we're gonna put 55. Soften to the surface contour is gonna be cove deep. The angle change it to 90, and the altitude is gonna be 90 also, and the gloss contour change it to Gaussian, and then the rest you can leave it the same as is, except for the shadow opacity. Change this to 30. Okay, and just click OK and let it work. And there you have it. You see the flaps in the outside, and it looked like it made a seam where the puffiness or the cushion of the pillow is. And this is beautiful. You can leave it like that, or you can go to the next step. That what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it a little bit puffier, especially in the center. And what we're gonna do before we do that, we have to make all this layer that we have here with the effect. We're gonna make it into one. And in order to do that, uh, first you click on the background and make it invisible, and choose the top layer, and right click the layer and choose from the option new from visible, and you have all this effect into one layer, and you can make the background visible back again and make this center between layers invisible, and so we have the background only and the visible layer, and we work in this visible layer, and we're going to choose again the warp transform, and this time we're going to change the way the effect goes. So we're going to choose grow, and we're going to make this a little bit bigger, the size. So we're going to make it 1000, and the hardness and the strength you can leave it the same way. Okay, just make sure you click enter after you change the size, so it will take the effect. And now go to toward the center, and here in the center, click. You can click 2 or 3 times, whatever you want, to make it look puffy. Okay, I'm gonna for this purpose, let's do it with three. One, two, and three. Okay, and look more puffy to the center. And if you want to stop here, you can stop here, and it's done. Otherwise, if you want to uh, put a shadow, all you have to do is go to layer effect, and drop shadow. You can do this like that, or you can do it the old way, or the way that you know about, drop shadow right here. You can make a drop shadow out of this. Since we already working with the uh, layer effect, I'm going to show you here how to do it. So if you never used this filter before, so we can leave the color as is because it's going to be black or dark, and you can leave the opacity 75. You can change this whatever you look, 90 degree, 120. I'm going to leave it the default 120. And here the distance, what we're going to do, we're going to make it a little higher, 30, because we want to have a little bit of separation from this item or image. And then here is going to be the size of the shadow. We make it 40. And then here, check where it says layer knocks out drop shadow. And we're going to leave this the other rest the same. And click and let it work. And there you go, we have a nice shadow on it. Okay, and now what I'm going to show you for the last part of this tutorial is how to change the pattern or the look, or the design. And for that, all you have to do is make sure that this layer, visible layer, is off too, is invisible, right? And then you can make this one visible back the pillow and choose and select the pillow layer and other layer named pillow. And here, what we're gonna do is just apply or reapply. Uh, you go to layer, layer effect again, and pattern overlay, and reapply the pattern overlay filter. You can go there, or you can go to filter and recent because you already have it in recent. You already used it. So pattern overlay, and here in the browse, all you have to do is change when the pop-up dialog comes, change it to another uh, design, and click OK, and there you have it. You got another design here too. Sorry, I forgot to turn on these layers too, and you can have the flap. If you don't want the flap, you can turn it back off, and you can have it like that. But I like it with the flap somehow. Makes it look a little bit nice. And that's it for this tutorial. And you can use again the transform tool, and if you want to make it a little bit puffier, right? So you can do this and make it a little bit puffier, and now you have another look on it. Anyway, this is it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something from this, and we'll see you next.